Tim Life.
Hello, internet friends. Are you tired of hauling around 4 or 5 of these to have enough water when you go camping or boondocking? Hey, I don't have room for this in my van. So, how would you like to have 27 gallons of hot solar heated water without taking up 1 inch of cargo space in your van? There you go.
That's it.
I had this idea to put this 27-gallon RV holding tank on top of my minivan as a hot water solar collector. I just set it on there now. It's not how it's going to mount, but this is the idea. Here we go. I'm going to cut a hole right here in the top for filling it. And I just traced that, and I'm going to cut a hole. I just cut this out. This is my starter hole, a 1-inch hole. Now I'm going to glue it in. I got it in there, and just for fun, I'm putting some glue on the seam around just to make sure no water comes splashing out of there. Here's the 27-gallon tank and the little piece that I just glued in and for filling it. And here on the exit side is the bottom of the tank. It came with another piece in here with putty and a clamp. You don't need all this stuff. So I took it out, and there's still some putty in there, but who cares? You can't get a cap for this. At Home Depot, I found a cap in the garden center, and it's the best I could find, and it does fit over loosely. I took the cap and I cut it down with a hacksaw, and then I ground it down on a grinder. Just kept grinding it down, around until I made it smaller and smaller until it fits the top of this. Now I'm just going to JB weld it onto there. JB Weld, you can buy at AutoZone for $7 or so. I mixed the two together. Just going to goop it on the edge all the way around. I used about half the tubes of the JB Weld mixed together, and I applied it a nice generous coating along the top edge of this outlet. And I've got my ground down cap. I'm just going to stick it on here. Push it down. So I'm just applying the JB Weld, kind of frosting a cake sort of. And when the stuff hardens up, it's going to be like a rock. Hopefully no water is going to get through this. There's a little lip right here, so I'll smooth that over. So I'm feathering it up into that lip so it doesn't leak. We'll see what happens. And when this dries, I'm going to drill a hole about there so I can have the faucet as close as possible to the bottom of the tank so I get all the water out. Okay, I let it set up overnight, and now we're going to see if it actually holds water and doesn't leak. So far, so good. I think it's going to hold. I'm going to use this 1-inch bit here because it seems to be about the right width to drill a hole with to put the faucet in. I want to drill the hole as close to the bottom of the tank as possible so I get all the water out. So, and there's some plastic behind this lid a little bit, remember, so I think that'll work right about there. Woohoo! Looks like this 1-inch hole is exactly right. With no threads, it looks like I can just twist this thing in place, push down and get it lined up right. Look at that, it's actually making its own threads. Whoa! Okay, I took the faucet out and I've got leftover JB Weld. I'm gonna mix that up and put it all over the thread. It's all gooped up with JB Weld. Just get a square in there and start turning it in those self-threading. Make sure it's straight up and down, not at an angle. It's so crazy how it makes its own threads. All right. Okay, that looks good. We're gonna see if this faucet connection leaks after setting up overnight. About filled to the top now. Not a sign of leaking. Isn't that great? I'm slipping this cardboard in the back of the van to make a pattern for a support for the tank. I'm just gonna draw a line. The wood I'm going to use for support is shorter than the width of the roof, but it doesn't matter. I'll just take the same arc pattern. we're gonna lift the whole thing up at an angle like this and put a support piece underneath the whole thing at an angle. That way we have clearance with the hatch open. So I have a piece of wood I cut out. The bottom is tapered to the angle of the roof. I also just cut a couple of 1-inch holes about 10 inches apart for tie down straps. I flipped the tank bottom side up. 6 inches in from this edge, I made a chalk line. So we're gonna make a bead of liquid nails. We cut this side and a table saw over there. The blade at a 30-degree angle. And I decided to put a double bead of liquid nails on there, nice and thick. So I'm pushing the board down now on that 30-degree angle along the bead line, and then I'm putting another 2x6 here against it to hold it up at the right angle while it sets up. I put some straps on there to hold it in place just lightly. If you put it too tight, it'll push this board downward. So we've got to keep the 30-degree alignment there. And this stuff here is just some foam. You could find some weather stripping or something to come in contact with the top of the van. Let's see what happens tomorrow when this sets up. Okay, I just ran another 2x6 through the table saw with the exact same 30-degree angle, and I got this little piece off of it right here. Liquid nails set up overnight, and this is pretty strong here. I just cut 3 pieces out of that long piece I just cut out on the table saw with the 30-degree, and I'll just put them right in here like that, 3 pieces in there so I have room for the holes, and glue those in with liquid nails. Okay, I'll let those set up now. Painted them black. We'll let them sit out in the sun all day and cure up. First thing you want to do is tape your straps onto the tank like this in place right above the holes. Now you'll see I've got the straps coming through, and I'll show you how I did that in a second. Tape the straps down to the tank so that they line up. I pulled my tank back right to the edge of the roof. Be careful, don't let it fall off. So I have some room here in front of it, and I took the strap underneath the solar panel and around my roof rack brace here that goes this way, and it's coming out here from underneath. This is ready to go through the hole underneath the tank. Okay, I've lifted the tank up now, and I fed it through the hole. I'm gonna pull the tank really tight into the corner, and I'm gonna pull these 2 straps really tight and run your strap underneath from the back side, run your strap in through the slot and out through the slot this way and down, and start cranking. In 5 cranks, this thing is super tight. I took the extra strap, cut it down to about 3 feet, and then just stuffed it in the hole here. This is the extra strap I cut off. And with cardboard in place, I'm just gonna spray paint. The straps are kind of pushing up the solar panels. So what, they're flexible, they'll still work. Here it is, a thing of beauty, all done. There's 4 things I would do differently if I were starting over. The first thing I would do is make this angle here about 25 degrees instead of 30 degrees. Then this thing would stand up a little straighter. The second thing I would have done is just take a hacksaw and cut this thing right off, and then go to the dollar store and get a little saucer-sized plastic plate and JB weld it right over the hole. The third thing I would have done is put this filler right up here higher and in the corner. The fourth thing I would do is take this faucet and drill a 1-inch hole right here, so it would be lower to get most of the water out. I hope you had as much fun watching this as I did building it, even though it's not perfect. Happy camping.